Are you a chip off the old block? You actually need to chip away at the block that you're stuck in. Hi, my name is Dane, and I want to talk to you about your mistaken identity. Today's daily tip on some of the mistakes that you might be making, or some of the mistakes that you have or believe that just aren't true, that are actually holding you back and causing you problems in your life. I was sure struggling in my life until I understood why I was so mistaken. So listen, if you're struggling to get ahead in life or better your life, it's likely because you're a chip off the old block. I looked up what that actually meant, and the Cambridge Dictionary definition said someone who is very similar in character to their father or their mother. And so one of the problems you might have, and one of the reasons you're stuck, is that you're very similar in character to your mother or to your father. I learned a lot of things from my adoptive parents, my mother and father. They were violent, brutal alcoholics, hurting themselves, hurting each other, hurting us children. And naturally, I picked up some of those qualities, especially the idea of how I felt about myself and really struggling in relationships. Luckily, I didn't pick up the negative stuff, other than I really had a hard time in relationships as I went forward. And so then if the definition of chip off the old block is someone who's very similar in character, I looked up the word character. I love looking up words because it really helps to clarify the truth. So the definition of character, according to the Cambridge Dictionary, is the particular combination of qualities in a person. And so you may have qualities in you rather, that you picked up from your mother or father. And I was looking up this idea. It's called the Uncarved block. There's a great little book called the Tao of Pooh. It's based in Taoism, and it uses Winnie the Pooh characters to explain this notion of the uncarved block. And so fundamentally what they're saying is that self-knowledge is a fundamental part of wisdom, because it's the first step to self-acceptance. And so if you don't like yourself, if you're not happy with yourself, if you have low self-esteem or an inferiority complex, if you don't like yourself, love yourself, if you have any negative feelings towards yourself, it's likely because you don't have actually self-knowledge and the fundamental wisdom that you need rather to have this self-acceptance. And so if you have characteristics of your mother or father, they may be causing you problems. If you inherited qualities from your upbringing, it's going to cause you problems. You were an uncarved block until you were influenced artificially by the parents and adults that raised you or taught you. Parents, teachers, religious leaders, they all shaped you. So you arrived as this uncarved block. And then they started chipping away at you, drilling in rules, values, beliefs, biases, prejudice, loads of judgment. If you weren't following the rules, values, beliefs, biases, prejudices, then you got in trouble and you got judged. And then you started judging yourself and started thinking there's something wrong with yourself. And so you picked up a lot of these characters. I was reading chapter 9 in my book, Mistaken Identity. It's called You're an Imitation. And so this really helped me to understand why I was so off track and feeling so off track. It's no wonder, because I was a chip off the old block, as they say. And like all of you, you were arrived here as an uncarved block, and then they chipped away at you. And so the parents, the teachers, the religious leaders, the people that influence you, family, friends, etc., they carved you and they shaped you. So if you're not in good shape in your life, then you probably need to rid yourself of your mistaken identity. Listen, get my book. Go to DougDane.com and get my book if you haven't got it. If you got my book and you haven't read my book, get the book, go through the book, and I guarantee you this book will change how you view yourself. I was talking to a client, a lady I've been working with, coaching one-on-one, and she described it as, Doug, over a short period of time and the book and a few phone calls with you, it was like I was in this block of ice, and you just kept chipping away at the block of ice, chipping away, and then these big chunks fell, and then I was free. And now how I feel about myself compared to how I used to feel about myself and treat myself is dramatically different. So you may be a chip off the old block. You may be carved into the wrong shape, and your life isn't in good shape because you got a mistaken identity and you're mistaken about some things that you believe about yourself that just isn't true. And my book will change it. I want to help you. If you get my book through my website, I also have video lessons with each chapter. I will spend a few minutes with you every day just explaining the chapter and how to do the exercises, because this book is not a book that you read, it's a book that you experience. I take you through step by step, changing your mind, ridding yourself of your mistaken identity, and getting you to take action on a new set of beliefs that is in line and congruent with who you really are. And make no mistake, you deserve better in your life. Thank you.